Welcome to Newport Residences, a rare freehold new launch in CBD. Talk to Tony for VVIP preview.
So let's talk about Newport Residences. It's shaping up to be a new icon on the Singapore skyline. But here's the billion-dollar question. Is it a must-have trophy home, or is it a value trap just waiting to spring? That's exactly what we're going to unpack today. You know, this one sentence, it's pretty much the key to this whole thing. It boils the entire investment case down to just two incredibly important factors. We're going to dive deep into both. All right, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with what I call the two-word hook. Then look at the master plan and design. After that, we'll crunch the numbers, but then we hit a pretty surprising analyst warning before we reach our final verdict on what is really a big gamble on the future. Okay, let's jump right in with the big one. And honestly, this is probably the most important part of the entire story. In the world of Singapore property, there's one quality that just changes the whole conversation. And that's the word right there, freehold. This isn't just some minor detail on a sales brochure. It fundamentally changes what it is you're actually buying. So what does in perpetuity really mean? Well, in a country as compact as Singapore, where almost everything you see is on a 99-year countdown timer, owning something forever, that is the ultimate luxury. It's not just a home. You're buying a piece of a legacy you can pass down to your family for generations to come. All right, so that's box number one ticked. Ownership status. Now let's get to the second part of that core idea, the location. And believe me, this is about so much more than just having a nice address on Anson Road. You can really think of its location value as standing on three strong pillars. First, there's the present. It's right in the heart of the CBD, the economic engine of the country. Second, the connections. You're hooked into the whole city, super easy. And third, and this is the real kicker for anyone thinking long-term, is the future. It's sitting on the doorstep of a truly massive national project. And this is the future we're talking about, the Greater Southern Waterfront, or GSW. Now, don't think of this as just some new park or a couple of new buildings. This is a huge nation-building level project that is set to completely transform Singapore's entire southern coastline. So, just how big are we talking? Well, to put it in perspective, get ready for this number. It's 6 times the size of Marina Bay. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. 6 Marina Bays. Can you imagine the potential value of being right at the front door of that kind of transformation? It's a massive part of the long-term investment story here. Okay, so we've covered the big picture stuff, the ownership, the location. Now let's zoom in a bit. What's the building itself actually like? What are you getting for your money? What's really cool here is that everything seems to have a smart reason behind it. That triangular shape, it's not just for looks. It's specifically designed to open up the best possible views for everyone. You've got the high-end brands you'd expect, but they're paired with really clever, efficient layouts that get rid of useless hallway space. And maybe the most unique touch, every single apartment starts way up on the 23rd floor. It literally creates this castle in the sky feeling, floating above the city. And this is a really unique idea that shows their whole philosophy. Instead of just a pool on a lower level, they've basically built a park, but going upwards. They've spread 4 different themed gardens all the way up the building, giving people these little sky-high oases to escape to. So we know it's a rare asset, it's in a fantastic spot, and it's thoughtfully designed. But the big question is always, do the numbers actually work? Let's switch gears and build the bull case for why this could be a great investment. This simple table tells a really powerful story. Just look at its neighbors. Both are on 99-year leases. Newport Residences is asking for a premium, and this shows you exactly why. Yes, you're paying more, but what are you paying for? You're paying for forever. You're paying for that legacy value we talked about right at the start. Now, for any investor, this chart is key. It shows that District 2 doesn't just have good rental demand, it has rental rates that often beat other famous prime spots like Marina Bay or even Orchard Road. That's a really, really strong signal of healthy tenant demand. And you can just tell this was designed with investors in mind. Look at that mix. Almost 80% of the units are smaller 1- and 2-bedroom apartments. That is not an accident. That is a laser focus on the CBD rental market, the expats, the professionals who want that prime location. So we've built a really strong case, right? Rare freehold status, amazing location, solid rental demand. It seems like a slam dunk. But this is where the story takes a sharp turn, and we run into a paradox where the numbers start telling a completely different tale. I mean, based on everything we've just seen, you'd have to think so. But this is where our analysis gets really, really interesting. That's right. Despite all of this, some property analysts are actually giving this an avoid rating from a pure investment angle. And you've got to ask, how is that possible? How can something that looks so good on paper come with such a big warning label? Okay, so here's the other side of the coin. First off, that entry price is steep. We're talking really high numbers. Then there's the long wait for it to be built, which means your money is tied up for years without earning you a single cent in rent. And maybe the biggest red flag, the district's history for new launches when it comes to capital gains, it isn't great. And that brings us to the big finale, the verdict. No investment is ever perfect, so it's all about weighing the pros and cons. It really comes down to balancing what you're paying today against a promise of what it could be tomorrow. It really is a balancing act, isn't it? On one side, you have these incredible, almost irreplaceable pros, that super rare freehold title, the prime location, and that massive potential upside from the GSW. But on the other side, the cons are just as real. A very high price tag, a long wait, and the risk that the GSW itself will bring a lot of new competition down the line. So I want to leave you with this final thought. As our cities get denser and more developed, is this the new formula for a true modern legacy property? A place that is freehold, right in the city center, plugged into transport, and right next to a massive wave of urban renewal. Is that the blueprint for the future? It's a powerful idea to think about.
Hi, I am Talk to Tony. For any property question, feel free to reach out to me, 8686 3444.